Last tutorial, I just showed you a little hint of the use of character styles and paragraph styles when it came to using tabs. But now I want to show you how to save styles for the appearance of boxes and containers or frames. Those are called object styles. So I'll go to File and Open. In Chapter 7, I will open folder number 2, and I will open up Object Styles. Okay, I've got a little catalog layout here. So you can see I've got, this is the front cover of the Mighty Mugs catalog. I've got all my Mighty Mugs toys all set up here. And I've got my back cover. But when I zoom in on this, everything looks odd. Everything on these dolls is curves. There's not a straight line on these guys, but yet there's straight edges, sharp corners. There's no sharp corners on these guys, so the containers don't really match the product. So I want to change that. I'm going to click on just one of them. I'll just zoom in a little more so you can see it. I'm going to click on Iron Man, and I'm going to click right here. This is my corner widget. Click that, and we'll bring these corners in. But I don't want it rounded on everything, so I'm going to hold my Shift key and take it off that corner. Hold Shift and take it off that corner, so it kind of tabs out right there. I also want to make my stroke a little thicker, but notice right here, when I make it thicker and thicker and thicker, it starts to bump into his head and starts to cut into his feet. So on my stroke panel, I'll tear that out, and I want the alignment of the stroke not to be centered, because half of it's going in the box, which is why it's hitting him in the head. Half of it is going out. I want to keep my stroke outside. See, if I go inside, then it's really crushing into the figure. So I want it to stay outside the box. 10 is a little too thick, so let's go 8. Now, when you have a nice thicker stroke, you can also set the type of stroke. So I want a thick, thin, like that. A little bit thinner on the inside, thicker on the outside. But when I click outside, notice I can see in this gap. And then when it gets over the black, I can't see. And I don't like that. So I'm going to click on this box. And when you have a double or triple stroke, like these guys, you have a gap in between there. So I'm going to go to the gap color and change that to yellow. I'll change the stroke color right here on my swatches panel. I'm going to click on the container, click on the stroke, and let's make that red. I like how this is starting to come together. Okay, cool. Let's throw the stroke panel back down here at the bottom. And I want to add a little drop shadow. So this little button right next to FX is your default drop shadow. And that's good. That's subtle. I like that. I like everything I've done here. Okay, the problem is when I zoom out, I don't want to have to do that again and again and again and again. That's a lot of content here. I already figured it out once. So I'm going to go to Window menu, Styles, Object Styles. And I'm going to click this little plus, create a new style. Save everything I have applied to this box. There we go. Double click the name. Let's call that Toy Frames. And I'll click OK. Now watch how fast I can edit a layout. Let me put these panels back. I'll just put my styles up here. And now if I click and drag with my black arrow, notice I have a text frame right there, so we don't want to hit that yet. Okay, I'm going to start on the blue. If you look at my layers, my blue underlying color has been locked. My background color fields have been locked. My black bars have been locked, but not my pictures and not my text. Okay, we're going to deal with text in a minute. I'm going to start on the blue, click and drag. And if I select 3 at a time, One click will update that. If I select multiple and then hold my shift key, I can select more, shift and select these three because that's a text frame, hold shift and select more, hold shift and select more. There we go. All of these frames, one click, instant update. Even down here on a different page, I can select those, one click. Now my boss walks in and says, hey, I kind of like that, but I don't like how they're looking like little Rolodex tabs. Rolodex went out years and years ago. Let's change, and let's do a rounded corner in the bottom right and a rounded corner in the upper left. So let's design a little more unique looking box than these little fold out tabs. So I'm going to take my black arrow, click outside, have nothing selected, go to toy frames, and over to the right, I'm going to double click. And I want to make sure preview is turned on. Okay, so now I'm going to look down in the list here, and let's see what we can do here. General stroke and corner options. There we go. The upper left corners, I want those to be round. So I'm going to hit the up arrow here. We'll go about 0.5. The bottom left corners I want to be sharp, and the upper right corners, I want those also to be sharp. So I like that kind of a look to it. But he said you got a lot of characters that have ketchup and mustard here. So let's change the color of the stroke. I'll click on stroke. And instead of a red stroke, let's go with a green stroke right there. Instead of a yellow gap, I can go down to the gap color and change that to blue as well. Of course, that's really hard to see. So maybe we'll change that gap color to red. Now it's looking too Christmassy. So let's set it back to white. I think that's too plain. I'm going to go back with yellow. I like the yellow gap. I like what's going on here. The stroke is a little thick. So let's go to the stroke weight and hit the down arrow a couple of times. There we go. A little 6-point stroke. Click OK. And notice, even though I wasn't even looking at the page, way down here, those have changed as well. Because once I apply a style, they're linked to whatever happens on this style. Huge, huge time saver. Okay, what I also have is type. Now I've got these invisible boxes here, so I'm just going to take my type tool, click once in the box, and even though I can't see it because I'm about to make black type, I'm going to hit the caps lock key and say Wave 1 Heroes. Okay, I'm typing black on a black frame. So I'm going to highlight that type. Go to my swatches. The type is set to black. I'm on T for type. And I'll make it paper. I'm going to hit Command T. And I'm going to make this impact. Let's go way up the list and find impact that I've used before. I'm going to highlight the font size and start hitting the up arrow. I really want this type to stand out. So let's go about 48 point. Wave 1 Heroes. All right, click outside. That looks pretty good. But the problem now is I have to turn my head or tilt my head at a 90-degree angle. I'm going to get a sore neck. Okay, we don't need our object styles anymore. So I need all these waves to be listed, but I don't want to design when it's on its side. So here's the great thing. On my Pages panel, I'm working on page 2 and page 3. See, if I click here, I can click only page 2 or shift click, so I have 2 and 3. And now what I can do is go, I'll tear this out so you can see it, go to the upper right corner pop-up menu and say Page Attributes. Wow, I got to really pull this over. Okay, upper right corner. Page Attributes. And let's go to rotate the spread view 90 degrees clockwise. So now I can tilt the whole spread on its side like that. Great. I'm just going to highlight this type. Oh, let's type in here Marvel Heroes. There we go. Highlight all that. Edit, copy. Now I click where I know that text frame was. Click, Command V. Click, Command V. Click and paste. Click and paste. Click and paste. And all I have to do now is change the numbers. This is wave 2. That's wave 3. That's wave 4. That's wave 5. And the final one is wave 6. All right, so now how do I get back to my normal layout? I'm still on this. You can see a little bent or curved circular arrow right here. That's an indicator on my Pages panel that I have rotated a spread. So I click the pop-up again, go to Page Attributes, and let's drag this over again. Click the pop-up, Page Attributes, rotate spread view, and clear the rotation. Now I'm right back where I started. Just put my Pages panel back up there and check that out. Finished a catalog in no time flat. Object styles are great. Instant updates. Copy and paste, copy and paste. Build files with your layers. But object styles are a huge time saver. Take advantage of them. They're great. I love working like this. That's object styles here in InDesign.